Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of the Chocolate Shake. Inshallah, I'd like to speak to something quickly. Now, I just sat down to get me a cup of coffee and a waffle out here in these ATL streets. And lo and behold, I came across this newsreel that was talking about a young man by the name of Kevin Young, who was the senior director over the black portion of the Smithsonian Institute, that black museum that George Bush, to his credit, and I was surprised to find out that it was George Bush. I'm talking about baby Bush, right? And he was the one who forwarded a bill for that museum to be built. And then, to his credit, Barack Obama came in and he actually built it. Okay, so again, baby Bush, he was the one who came up with the funds and was okay with signing off to have it built. And then President Barack Obama actually came in as president and he built it. Now, I hadn't been there yet, but everyone who's been there, white, black, or otherwise, has said that this place is amazing, that it's a 5-story building that does a very amazing job of taking you through the Black American experience from the time the Africans stepped off the ship to where we are today. They say that you start at the 5th floor and you go down. And at the 5th floor, they actually start where the Africans came in to the Americas on ships. And as you go down, it brings you all the way to the 1st floor about how it is that we live today in these United States of America. Now, I've never heard anybody, all my white friends, black friends, don't matter, Muslim, non-Muslim, everybody says that the museum is an excellent portrayal to have folks understand the sojourn of black folks in this country. How it is that we went from Africans from Africa to what we call now Black Americans. It just tells the history. It has no other aim or objective except to tell the history. But now, President Donald Trump and his administration, and this is particularly J.D. Vance, they are attacking this museum now and trying to defund it unless the museum is now steered in the direction that they want to take it in. So they don't want to be honest about what's going on with Black Americans. They don't want to be honest about our sojourn, because to tell our story is to negate theirs, right? That's how they see it, but it's not true. But to tell our story is to point a finger of ridicule and criticism at these people who want to have a narrative that America is this exceptionally great country that has done everything it can do, and it has done everything that's humanly possible to do to be the best country in the world. All right, and we know that that's far the furthest thing from the truth. This country basically is a capitalist setup by people who came in from another country who was suffering, who wanted to bring their abilities to this country to live their lives as they please. But in the process, they too took their aristocratic ideals and views and they foisted it on other peoples like the natives and the Africans to build out the country that they wanted to build out. And that's what they did. Now that they've done that, they don't want the natives and the African peoples who came here, who built the country, right? I'm talking about the African peoples now, my people, my tribe, Black Americans, who built this country. Now they don't want us to tell our story, because to tell our story is to expose them for the devils that they are, and to expose to the world the atrocities that they put on portions of the human family for this country to be where it is right now. So they don't want us to tell our story. They want to quiet us. They want to rewrite history, or as people say or said when I was growing up as a little boy, they want to whitewash the history. This is the objective, so that they can now somehow prove to themselves, I guess to their children too. I guess it's not about just projection to the world. It's also about maintaining a certain type of philosophy, a mindset, right? A lie that they can tell to their children, a myth, right? A myth. We all have mythology, right? We talked about this on this channel before, to be cosmological, and cosmogonical, right? That's a part of being human. To have your cosmology, have a way of looking at the world, and to seat yourself and your tribe in that philosophy and then project it into the world, right? So they want to introduce, or not introduce, they want to maintain this ideal of a goodness, a sweetness, a progressiveness, right, to the world that is not earned. No, this country was built on blood and bone, and it was built on the blood and the bones of the natives and the Africans that they brought here to build it. That's what the country was built on. And now the natives and the Africans are telling their stories in ways that we couldn't tell it in the past. And we're starting to, hunker down on these stories so that they don't get lost and that our own tribes have the true version of what happened. That we're not resting what it is that we have on mythology, right? But we're resting it, in fact, on reality. That we live in a time now where we have the pen, we can write things down, we can log things, and we can go back and reference reality. And that's the problem with what it is that that museum is doing. That museum, and I understand that the Trump administration is also attacking the Native American museum. They have to, because if they don't, this white supremacist ideology that they have, right, this platform of white makes right, and that white people are the greatest thing that ever dawned the human planet, our narrative chips against that. Our narrative exposed a lot about that. So now they attack the Black Museum at the Smithsonian. This is what we're doing now, right? Saying that what this museum is forwarding, this is the Trump administration, this is J.D. Vance and Trump, that this museum and museums like it, that we are going counter a narrative that's good for the country. And that for us to tell our story about what happened to us in this country is divisive. It hurts the country. It causes people to be at odds. It causes rancor. This is what they said, not that what they did caused divisiveness, that their philosophy of white supremacy causes divisiveness, not that their brutality against other peoples caused divisiveness. No, that didn't do it. They're killing people and dropping bombs on them. That didn't do it. Them ripping down our stores and our businesses. That didn't do it. Them, can't say certain words on YouTube, I was told, but abusing our women and killing our women in the streets. Oh, that didn't do it. Attacking the strongest part, the backbone of the Black and indigenous nations, which are the men, right? The men who have to go to war with these other men, and almost to the point of extincting the native and absolutely suppressing and degrading the Black American. No, that's not divisive. No, what's divisive is for us to remind the world about what they did to get what they got. And the fact that where they are right now, they couldn't have it unless they stood on our backs and stood on our necks to get it. All right? Or I should say, they could have gotten it in a more mutual way if they were more human about it. So let me correct myself. We can all get what we want on the planet Earth if we do it in mutual, respectful ways. If we allow people to sit to the table and that we all share our gifts, the God-given gifts that he gives us as individuals, and the God-given gifts that he gives every tribe, in every clan, in every race, that you could actually come to the table and really make America something that was great. Well, I just saw this news clip where this young brother, Kevin Young, he stepped down because he just doesn't want to be in a position where under his leadership, 2/3, I'll say that again, 2/3 of the monies that sustain and support the Smithsonian, the Black portion of the Smithsonian Institute, relies on federal funding. When you have President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance saying that, hey, we're going to take away your funds. You don't do it our way, then it's the highway. So the young brother just went on and resigned, I heard, on Friday, and left it alone. And he said he wanted to concentrate on his poetry and some other things in his private life. So here we are again. I just wanted to jump on quickly so that we understand that we are in a battle. Not only the personal battles that I talk about for our souls on this channel, but we're also in battles man to man, right? This is just the reality. It's going to always be this way. And it's nothing to run from. It's nothing to cry about, boo-hoo, It's not time to run in corners and cry. It's time right now to figure out ways that we can come up with philosophies and ways of life to counter what it is that these devils are cooking up. And one of those things that I will always talk about on this channel, what this channel is really made for, is to go back to Allah and the messengers, go back to God and go back to the great sages and take from them the ethical and moral weapons to defend ourselves. We have a right to defend ourselves, brothers and sisters, and they gave us the ways to do that. So on this issue, I'd say that since this is a federal government thing, and Trump and Vance, they absolutely have the leadership, the people in this country put them in leadership, then fine, they won this time. So with that being said, what should we do? I say that we should now concentrate on doing our own thing, as I've always said, do for self. This whole mantra that came back from our ancestors, since our ancestors hit this shores, we can go all the way back to the first Africans that hit the shore, that got freed. The first thing that came out their mouths is, let these people alone. We need to do for self. Concentrate on the things that we can do. Now, teaching our own history to our children is not a major hard thing to do. If they don't want to support that black section of the Smithsonian Institute, which I understand is the second greatest attraction in the Washington, D.C. area, the second biggest attraction, y'all, is the black section of the Smithsonian Institute, bringing in all that money, bringing in all that support to that area. If they don't want to support it, guess what? Let them take the 2/3 of the federal funding that they have and stick it up their backsides. And then we can go ahead and develop our own small institutions using our own dollars, it's already happening. We have one here in Atlanta. I understand they're building one in LA, California, Dr. Tariq Nasheed, and there are others. I think it's one somewhere in the Alabama area. So we're already doing this. So all we need to do is make sure that we support these things and make sure we put the job of educating our children on the history of these United States of America and our sojourn in it. We put that squarely on our shoulders and make it our job so they can keep their 2/3 of the funding. In fact, they can keep all of it. They can keep 100% of it. And we take care of our business. We know the history. We have brilliant scholars who've tracked our history, not only in the Western Hemisphere, but track us all the way back to the great civilizations like ancient Egypt. So we have our scholars, and we have the will, and we have the necessary monies and everything else to do it. It might not be as grand as receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars, and maybe even millions from the federal government, but we can certainly teach that education and make sure that our people always know what it is that we've went through in this country. And anybody else that has the intelligence, who have the heart, the will, they have the ears to listen and learn, then they can come to our institutions and we'll teach them about real American history. All right, y'all, that's all I got. So if you appreciate anything I said, do me a great favor and like this episode. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. Y'all take care out there. Peace.